Visitors are welcomed almost everywhere in Vietnam, provided they behave respectfully and honor local customs. Have you ever traveled to Vietnam? If so, you surely have a few fascinating anecdotes to share. In this piece, we will astonish you with intriguing details about this exotic land, revealing the lesser-seen side of its rainbow hospitality. You will encounter genuine, carefree smiles, which feel delightful, but be ready for moments that may strike you as blunt or even awkward. Locals here are extremely curious. They will want to know your age, your family background, and even your financial standing. You might think this is mere idle prying, but it goes deeper. Vietnamese people revere their ancestors and uphold a strict family hierarchy. Every duty is allocated according to seniority, so your conversation partner must understand your place in the family pecking order before deciding how to address and interact with you. Forget about standing still in a queue for a moment. Hesitate too long, and you might receive a gentle nudge from someone behind you. Likewise, if you cannot identify which dish you want, a vendor may simply take you by the elbow and guide you to the correct pot. People here are straightforward and open, and they expect the same in return. Vietnam is synonymous with motorbikes. They blanket the roadways in such overwhelming numbers that the country has earned a reputation as a two-wheeled powerhouse. For the casual traveler, simply crossing a street can feel like tackling a wild obstacle course. You have only one option: go forward slowly, deliberately, and with unwavering resolve. Hesitation or retreat invites an unbroken line of scooters to buzz by, leaving you stranded on the curb until dusk. Riders conceal their faces beneath colorful scarves and respirators, practical items chosen to match their outfits, their footwear, and of course their trusty steeds. If you are accustomed to starting the day with eggs or porridge, prepare for a change. Here, breakfast often means a steaming bowl of noodle soup. Strolling the still sleeping streets at daybreak, you will find this fragrant broth, laden with tender slices of meat or fish and bright green herbs, awaits your hunger. It is an excellent remedy for a rousing wake-up. Coffee in Vietnam also offers a surprise. Avid connoisseurs of milk-laden espresso may balk at the local custom of stirring in yogurt or even raw egg white blended with sugar. Brewing this homely concoction is an art form. Locals rarely send you to for the best coffee is brewed on the spot, infused with genuine heart and soul. Have you heard the ghastly tales of dog meat in Vietnam? They are not mere urban legends. In the northern regions, some families believe that consuming canine flesh brings good fortune, enhances male virility, and wards off misfortune. Do not worry, though. You will not encounter these dishes in mainstream restaurants They remain part of the traditional rural fare, and most tourists are blissfully unaware. Speaking of animals, you might see pet owners strolling their dogs or even cats in city parks. On manicured lawns, playful rabbits, guinea pigs, and other fluffy creatures nibble grass under the watchful eyes of their guardians. Ever seen someone walk a parrot? Not perched on a shoulder, but riding in its own little cage. Vietnamese bird lovers often carry their feathered friends to meet up in public squares, where the occupants of the cages breathe free air and savor one another's company. Who among you has explored the lively markets of Vietnam? Vendors here know the true value of their wares, and they rarely hasten to bargain. If you find a price too steep, try your luck elsewhere. Deal makers do not chase down tourists, and they seldom lower their asking price. Patience is key, or you will find yourself shopping at the same stand all day long. For those intrigued by the supernatural, Vietnam is profoundly religious. Even individuals who swear off mass ceremonies honor their forebears at home. Every family shrine features offerings of water, fruit, and fragrant incense. If someone does not believe in a higher power, they still place their trust entirely in ancestral spirits. And here's the most astonishing part. Locals are convinced that in the spirit realm, their departed relatives require earthly comforts. Shops sell paper replicas of money, cars, and even houses, all crafted from cardboard. These symbolic goods are burned as offerings, sent aloft on plumes of smoke to beloved kin on the other side. Vietnamese also harbor a healthy respect for malevolent ghosts, those who died suddenly or tragically and linger between heaven and earth, seeking justice. To appease these restless souls, you will find tiny altars dotting the spots where accidents occurred. Offerings are laid out, and it is believed that the spirits rest in peace once they receive their due. Now allow us to share a chilling ghost story. On February 10, 1970, during the war between North Vietnam and the United States of America, a group of Vietnamese soldiers lay in ambush when they heard a haunting voice calling through the jungle. "My comrades, I have come back to warn you," it intoned. "I am already in hell. My fate is sealed. Return home before it is too late." The soldiers were unnerved, yet none abandoned their post. As it turned out, this eerie broadcast was a covert psychological operation devised by American psychologists aiming to break enemy morale. Although innovative, the tactic never gained widespread use, mainly because it proved largely ineffective. Would you like another taste of horror? Consider the abandoned building once earmarked for an embassy. Decades ago, it began life as a hospital. Construction moved swiftly at first but came to a sudden halt. Workers reported inexplicable occurrences and started quitting in. Experts diagnosed severe structural imbalances that trapped negative energy inside the walls. Locals claim to hear strange noises emanating from the half-finished ruins and avoid the place entirely. Then there are the so-called ghostly villas near the pass of several stately houses that, though barely weathered, stand shrouded in an eerie gloom. Legend tells of a bride who fell into a well on her wedding night. Since then, her spirit is said to roam the grounds, terrifying any who venture too close. Returning to everyday travel in Vietnam, we have already sung the praises of breakfast. However, not every tourist is delighted with restaurant fare. If you wish to sample something bold, local chefs are famous for pairing unlikely ingredients, say meat with sweet tropical fruits, then drizzling everything with a pungent, spicy sauce. Adventurous gourmets will revel in this fusion, but daredevils beware. You might hesitate before ordering it again. Though many travelers pride themselves on leaving no trace, litter is a pressing issue here. Not long ago, patrons tossed their scraps right under their chairs. Nowadays, street-side trash bins line the sidewalks, but waste collection is woefully inconsistent. Efforts to address the problem focus on tourist hubs, yet if you wander into quieter neighborhoods, you may encounter unsightly debris. On a spicier note, certain niches of Vietnamese tourism cater to very specific desires. Although many will tell you that the country is ill-suited for such pursuits, demand only seems to grow. When night falls, clubs and massage parlors become venues for adult entertainment. Every other taxi driver will cheerfully offer to arrange an evening with a charming stranger. Yet travelers who partake in these pleasures sometimes fall prey to scams. Despite warnings not to bring companions back to your room, thrill seekers awaken to find their valuables gone. Proceed with caution. Let us share the experience of a family who relocated from Russia to Vietnam. The father, whom we will call Victor, secured a job where his salary surpassed that of his local colleagues and even his supervisor. Housing costs did not seem daunting at first, until he discovered that thin walls left him privy to every rumble from nearby nightclubs and street eateries. English proved as incomprehensible to locals as Mandarin might to us. Eventually, his family enrolled their daughter in an international kindergarten where lessons are conducted in English. Yet most schools instruct solely in Vietnamese. Hospitals welcome foreigners with treatment fees ranging from 300 to several thousand rubles, though many expatriates complain about the overuse of antibiotics. Socially, Victor encountered little friction. Southern Vietnamese tend to be warm and outgoing, yet he has met individuals who still point and whisper at strangers. "We live on different planets," he jokes. After several years, the couple grew accustomed to local mores and decided to extend their stay once his contract ended, provided they could find comparable employment. Another family arrived in a tiny village, expecting to spend just a few months but ending up staying for 5 years. The mother, whom we will call, describes the peaceful rhythms of rural life. Bustling markets by 6 in the morning, schools convening at 7, and workdays concluding at 4 in the afternoon. The standard workweek runs 6 days, a fact she found disconcerting at first but later accepted. Also discovered a labyrinth of superstitions. Certain combinations of numbers are deemed lucky, while others are shunned. If a child's given name seems to bring misfortune, locals may change it immediately. In public transportation, women avoid mirrors and hairbrushes, fearing that reflections might attract wandering spirits and provoke accidents. What else might surprise you? Even in the most upscale hotels, you may encounter insects or lizards in your suite, and in some dwellings, frogs or toads pay visits in sizable gatherings. Tourists often lament that ridding their rooms of these unwelcome guests proves more challenging than anticipated. Vietnamese people take great pride in their culture. Overt displays of affection are frowned upon in sacred spaces, and scantily clad visitors draw disapproving glances. If you are invited into someone's home, remember to remove your shoes as a sign of respect. When purchasing bottled water, always inspect the seal. Unscrupulous vendors may sell you previously opened containers of tap water. Although it is unlikely to harm you, the experience is hardly pleasant. Vietnam generally ranks among the world's safest destinations, but petty theft is not uncommon. Street hustlers abound, hoping to make a quick profit from unsuspecting tourists. Always use licensed transportation services and avoid unregistered taxis, especially if you plan to travel around the Lunar New Year. During that period, most businesses close for 9 consecutive days, and it would be a shame to find the city deserted when you arrived with such high hopes. Finally, a word on morning commerce. It is said that the outcome of your very first transaction of the day influences the remainder of your work. If you pay a fair price to your vendor, you will bring good fortune to all parties involved. Vietnamese generally dislike unsolicited physical contact. Do not attempt to hug a stranger in gratitude or greeting. Here, men prefer to bow slightly or offer a customary handshake. A simple nod or bow often suffices to convey warmth and friendliness. Such is the enigmatic and extraordinary land of Vietnam. To those planning a journey here, we wish you vivid impressions and a safe adventure. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give us a thumbs up. Much more thrilling content lies ahead.